Good afternoon. You are on hold for the IBM India conference call today. We are waiting for the arrival of the additional participants, and we will be starting shortly. Thank you for your patience, and please continue to stand by. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you are on hold for the IBM India conference call today. We will be starting the conference shortly. Request you to please stand by. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you are on hold for IBM India conference call today. We will be starting the call at 3 o'clock. We request you to please stand by. Thank you.
Okay.
Like whenever you're...
Sure. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good day and welcome to the web conference of IBM India Limited. Topic for today's webinar is Introduction to Rational Quality Manager and its Best Practices. Today's conference is being recorded. At this time, I would like to turn the conference over to the host, Mr. Chandra. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, good afternoon, everybody, and I would like to thank you all for joining this call. Myself, Chandra, and I am working for TCS, that is Tata Consultancy Services. So, within TCS, we have Rational COE Group, that is Rational Center of Excellence Group. So, this group mainly focuses on different various rational tools. So focus area would be managing delivery support. Delivery supports means whenever there is a any requirement from project team, so we'll be supporting them, and also consulting and solution development. So solution development would be more focuses on developing a plugins on top of rational tools, which would reduce some kind of uh, effort. And my main focus is on test management using Rational Quality Manager, and also defining test strategy framework using Rational Functional Tester. And also I have a good experience with Rational Requirement Composer and Rational Requisite Pro, and also developing a solutions on top of JAS tools. Okay, so today's webinar will mainly concentrate on Rational Quality Manager. I'll be taking through very basic things of Rational Quality Manager, and we have other uh, uh, other advanced capabilities of Rational Quality Manager, but I will not be going to take on this because of time constraints. So we will not be able to cover complete RQM. But on test management perspective, what and all is required and what and all is provided by RQM, I can cover that. And some of the best practices is already implemented in many industries. I will be going to take you on that as well. And also the line will be opened at the end for 15 minutes to take any kind of queries or questions. And also uh, uh, you can you can just drop your questions. If required, you can drop it on a chat window, so that at the end I can try to read out and uh, try to address them whenever the line is open. So coming to agenda slide. Okay, so we have A section and B section. A section concentrates on introduction to Rational Quality Manager, and also we'll be talking about what is test planning, uh, and what are the uh, different things we can define in test planning, and test cases, and test scripts, and test suites. So these are all basically, you might have already heard these test planning, test cases, and scripts and suites with respect to our test management. So how do we define those things in Rational Quality Manager? We'll be going to see them, and also linking these artifacts for traceability. So if you look at any stages of our software development life cycle, so traceability is very much important. To delivery quality of the product. So whenever there is a change in any artifact, or there is a uh, change in one type of artifact, so we need to make some changes to another artifact. So how do we implement those such kind of traceability in Rational Quality Manager? We'll be going to discuss on that as well. And how do we execute test cases within RQM? And how do you analyze your reports and various dashboards? And also we'll be talking about integration of RQM with other tools. So what and all other rational tools can be integrated with RQM, and also which provides out of the box integration. So followed by that we have command line adapter provided by RQM. So this mainly focuses on integrating with other custom tools which does not provide out of the box integration with RQM. We will be discussing on that in detail. And also the B section covers some of the best practices we followed using test artifacts, categories for organizing artifacts and generating reports, using test cases weight. So we have a test cases, something called test cases weight within RQM. So how do we use them effectively to measure the correct execution of execution progress of the test cases? And we have called copy utility and snapshots. So how do we use them to manage your baselines for various artifacts? Okay, and also we will be discussing keywords, test data, and execution variables. How do we use them, and what is the use of those entities within RQM? We'll be going to discuss, and guidelines for importing and exporting of test cases. Okay, so in fact you can say test artifacts. So say for example, if our artifacts is sitting outside the RQM and now you have implemented RQM in your project, so how do we migrate those artifacts which are defined in your spreadsheet or wherever, from other sources? How do you bring back them to in RQM? So that is we are going to discuss, and also topology. What kind of topology we have will be following for the large deployments. So what is the recommended topology we have to follow? So that that will be going to discuss. So this is a brief thing on agenda stuff. So going to next. So it will be going to start with detail about quality manager, rational quality manager. Basically rational quality manager has the following characteristics, and also which is built on a JARS platform, and most of the characteristics generated by JARS platform from the rational quality manager. Okay, so let me tell you what is a JARS platform and how it is, why it is invented, and what is the funda behind the implementing JARS platform. Okay, so IBM Rational JARS is a new technology platform for collaborative software delivery. So JARS is designed to transform how people work together to build a software, making software delivery more collaborative and productive and transparent. Okay, so think of the situation. Okay, so you are part of the global team of developers. Okay, with offices in multiple countries, spanning several time zones, or you are the part of small or local team divided by a different work schedules or a department, different affiliations. Okay, so in either case, okay, you would like to collaborate with the different with the business analysts, for example, architects, developers, testers, okay, and business stakeholders and other subject matter experts separated by time distance. Okay, to overcome these things, okay, for example, you are the testers. You are, for example, just assume that you are a tester. So you need not to just test your application and sit idle. Sometimes you have to collaborate with your developers and architects or analysts, okay, to deliver your quality of the product. So basically the rational quality manager is built on to collaboration of each other within a team, okay, which leverages social networking capabilities to enable broader and richer participation in the software delivery process and to overcome geographic and temporal gaps in the software life cycle. And also it helps, JARS platform also helps to automate different processes and also improve the team efficiency and reduce time to value. Okay, so that is a brief introduction on JAS platform, what JAS platform offers. Okay. Uh, it's a collaborative web-based tool. Again, we know that, and it offers comprehensive test planning. So we can do many things with respect to test planning, test construction, and different test artifact management throughout the software development lifecycle. And Rational Quality Manager is designed to be used by many teams. So as I told, Rational Quality Manager supports different kinds of roles such as the test manager, test architect, test lead, a tester, and a lab manager. And always you can customize these roles as well. So these are the predefined roles provided by RQM. Always you can change those permissions given to test manager. You can add a new permission, you can delete a permission. Basically you can customize these kind of permissions. Okay. Okay, so coming to test planning, so how do you define a test planning within the Rational Quality Manager? Okay, so what is the goal of defining a test planning? So it it supports, it acts as a kind of a container for the your test planning. So it allows you to define various business and test objectives. So test objectives could be uh, your team objectives, and at the end of executing this test plans, and what would be my end results. So your defects, all defects must be zero, or defects must be so and so lesser than the previous percentage. And defining the business goals would be your stakeholder expectations and etc. Okay, and also it as a governance process also, like review and approval process. Once you define your test plan, you can get it approved from your supervisors or your stakeholders, whether it is correctly defined or not. So we have a formal approval and review process for this test planning. And also, not only test planning, we have a formal approval process for each of the artifacts within RQM. You create your test cases, test scripts, test suites. So all those things we can get it reviewed from your supervisor, and manages project requirements and test cases and establishes the interdependencies between the two. So as I was talking, traceability is very important. Okay, so whenever you define your test plan, and also we can associate your test plan with the different requirements and test cases, so that it establishes interdependencies. Interdependencies means whenever there is a test case change, corresponding requirements has to be changed. So that is managed through a suspect link provided by RQM. So that is again a traceability stuff I was talking about. And you can estimate size of the effort. So what is the effort that is going to take for this particular test plan? You can estimate that and put it in your test plan within RQM. Define the schedule for each test iteration and track the dates of other important test activities. Okay, you can keep your schedules, dates, everything can be defined over here. List the various environments to be tested and generate the test configurations. So this is very important, because as a product, your product should work in a different environment. To make sure that you need to execute your test cases in a different environments. So how do we cover them? So you can basically mention those things in list of various environments. Environments could be your hardware and software environments, like browsers, CPU, your database, etc. And also your hardware could be like your memory size, hard disk, whatever it is, your hardware, and speed of your processor, etc. You can make combinations of those things, and you can define even in your test plan, and where and all you are going to cover your environments, test environments. Okay. So at any point of time, we can take a snapshot of the test plan, and also it serves as a reference in the future. Okay, and you can define your quality goals, entrance criteria, and exit criteria. This is something you can evaluate. Suppose if you have already defined your test plan, you have already executed, and you have some result for that. Okay, so before going to execute the next plan, you should have some kind of entrance criteria. That entrance criteria would be, so percentage of the test cases fail, or for example defects should be less than 10 before I go to next test plan. The previous test plan would contain defects less than 10. So that could be your entrance criteria. So exit criteria would be your number of defects would be 0. Okay, that we can always evaluate with the help of test plan, and you can create and manage different test cases within your test plan. Okay, and also it provides a execution progress. You can view the execution progress. So I'm going to take in the next slide. So which would have, you can see here, this is a sample test plan screen over here. So whatever I explained can be seen those sections here. You can manage these sections. You can create your own custom sections, and you can add whatever you want to. So it just looks like in your Word file where you can define your various headings and sections, and you can, for example, in summary, you have here different categories. So I will explain in the best practice how to use these categories to manage your different test artifacts, to organize your different test artifacts. So as I was saying, if this test plan is executed by different testers, so those execution progress can be seen here in overall execution result, and also snapshots. So at any point of time, you can take the snapshots, and also there is a requirement links over here. Here requirement collection links here. So these requirements can come from a other tool or other source. For example, if you take a rational, there are different tools, requirement management tools. We have a requirement composer. So the requirements which are defined in the requirement composer can be integrated here and can be linked those requirements here in the test management within RQM. And also development links. Okay, so development links could be sitting in rational team concert. Okay, so those development links correspond to here. We can just attach them here with the test plan, so that it serves you as a traceability. So in case of is there any defect for a particular test case, you can trace it back to development links. From there, you can just reopen that development, and it goes to development team for fixing that kind of bug, whatever you got is. Next thing is, so you have your test plan ready. So we know that test plan has contains different test cases, requirements, okay, test scripts. Also it contains. So before define the test plan, we need to define a test cases. We need to design our test case. So how do you basically author? How do you write them in SL Quality Manager? Okay. And before that, so what is this test case interprets in SL Quality Manager? So you can use this test case design and construction features to define overall design for each of the test case. Okay. So basically designing your test case. Okay. So also it is just a rich text editor. Okay. Which includes all background information about the test case. So what the functionality of this test case, what and all different flows it contains. So it depends on how you define your test case to understand. It can be understood by a tester. So what exactly you want to test by just looking at this test case, you can define it in a rich text editor provided by RQM. A test case can also include links to development items and requirements. So it's similar to a test plan where we link development items and requirements. So development item could be it's very low level. If you take a development item for a test case, it's very low level. For example, you have given a development item to develop just a simple login screen which will accept your username and password. Okay, so your test case would be a behavior of this login name and password whenever you enter the values. So what is the behavior? That could be your test case and that could be your development items. You can link them together, and also the requirement. Requirement is you are defining your login page is the requirement. So corresponding to development item which is developed in rational team concern, you can just link them here for traceability. And also we can associate test cases with other test artifacts such as test plans, test scripts, and also test execution records. Okay, so test script construction and reuse. So how do you do that? So in RQM, it's also a kind of a test editor it will provide where you can define your sequence of steps. So test script means a sequence of steps that should be followed by your tester to achieve to execute this particular test cases functionality is working or not. And also your test script could be your manual test script, and also the scripts coming from the automation scripts coming from different other tools like we have a functional automation tools like rational functional tester, performance tester, robo, AppScan. Okay, and also if you take other vendors like HP, QTP also can be integrated with RQM, and those scripts can be pulled to RQM and can be attached to test case and can be triggered execution from RQM, and which will invoke the QTP and execute the scripts. Sorry. So here is a sample screenshot. So again, you can have different sections here and test cases. You can define, you can attach your test scripts to this particular test case by adding this. Here there is an add button over. You might have already defined your test scripts. Okay, so it's like this. Whenever you define any test artifact, they are independent or they are not linked to anywhere. Suppose you create a test case, that is, it's kind of a shopping cart. Okay, you have a test case defined and kept there in the shopping cart, and also your test script it's kept there in the shopping cart. Okay, you pick them whenever you need. You just pick them and put it here. Okay, you have a test case defined. You have a test case defined, and also you might have already defined or constructed your test script. You just go and attach here to a test case by using this simply an add button here. Okay, so similarly for a test script. So as I told you, it's a kind of an editor where you can keep on adding your test scripts. For example, I have added two steps here, login and logout. And also you can associate this test script with a different test data. So test data, what I mean is a collection of records, set of records, different set of data. For example, login name would be different for the next iteration. So I understand that you understand what is meant by test data is. Okay, so it has a different set of records and which will execute the same script for multiple times. Suppose if there are 3 records, this same script will be executed for 3 times with a different set of data. Okay, so the next screen will show this is how we use the test data. So I have already defined called sample test data that has ID 1 and password 1 columns. So using this adding test data columns, or we can associate test data columns which are defined in a .csv file and imported in a RQM can be associated with the steps here. We have login here, inside the login ID 1 and password 1, so that at runtime these ID 1 password will be replaced by the actual value which are defined in the spreadsheet. Okay, so artifact traceability. So I explained this already. Like linking is often important for users for artifact traceability in both forward and backward. So that can be achieved by adding those test scripts to test case and test case to requirement and requirement to test plans. Okay, and RQM provides traceability for different artifacts from test plan to test case to requirements and development of work items, as I told you. And execution. Okay, so execution, you can just execute this any test case. For example, if you go back to previous slide, you have a test case defined. There is a run button over here. So simply you can run this test case directly, so that it invokes your manual test script. There, manual tester looks at the steps defined in the test scripts over here, and it looks at the screen what is the results and validate it and put it in the actual result in the RQM. So based on this, you can mark the steps is passed or failed. Based on those passed or failed, the RQM identifies that whether this test case is passed or failed, and accordingly it will update the results in RQM. Okay, so the test execution include running the test case directly. Just now I told you how to execute directly, and also grouping the test cases into test suites for sequential and parallel execution. Okay, so for example, you want to execute a bunch of test cases, bunch of test cases at any point of time. You can group them as a test suites, and also RQM provides to execution of those test cases. You can execute either in sequential manner or parallel execution. So what do you mean by sequential? Is if you select the sequential, you can select the order also. Okay, until test case 1 is executed, test case 2 cannot be executed. Parallel means in any order you can execute your test cases. So basically this flag should be set whenever you start your execution of test suite. And test analysis and reporting. So we have a various predefined reports provided by RQM. Those predefined reports you can see. We go to next slide here. So not only this, I have added very few of them. There are so many other predefined reports provided by RQM. So once your execution is completed, you can go and execute these things. So there is under defects, you have a defect list. Okay, defect list will list the status of defect listing and defect arrival and resolution. If there is any defects raised in the previous build, and this build you have your test plan is already executed, and what is the status of that defect and what was the resolution for that defect, you can execute. We have so many other things under execution category. Under execution, you can see execution of the status by machine. So basically RQM has another capability, which is a lab management. Lab management allows you to define various machines for testing your testing your product. So you want to see the execution status by machine. Suppose machine 1 is executing 20 test cases and machine 2 is executing 30 test cases, and you want to see what is the status in machine 1. So using this type of report, you can see these results. And execution status by owner. So owner means as a test manager, you would have given your test cases to execute your different testers, and you want to see the individual results of them. So what is the status of so and so person? You can see that as well. Under lab manager categories, you can see what is the utilization of your lab resource, what is the request and response time, and etc. You can see. And under the requirements, you have requirements in a test plan, requirement coverage detail, what requirement is covered by, which requirement is covered by which test case, etc. And you have different other categories also, like test cases categories. We have a big list of reports. Because of your space constraints, I have added very few to show it to you. And also, apart from predefined reports, suppose if you think that you want your own customized reports, so you can integrate or you can install the plugin provided by RQM. So whenever you buy this RQM, National Reporting for Development Intelligence, this is a plugin, an optional plugin. You can always install or there is a rational insight, okay, for additional report, and also it provides an ability to customize your reports, so which will suit your business needs. So you can use them always. For basic reports, yes, RQM itself is provided, and you can see live reports, test execution status just by opening the test plan or by browsing the list of test plans and opening the execution view. Okay, you can just go and see the live reports. So as I told you, the reports provided here, you can ask these, you can add these kind of reports in your dashboard as a feeds. Okay, feeds means you can configure these reports on your dashboard. So whenever there is a change in this report, then automatically gets uploaded, and you can always watch or monitor your dashboards here. Okay, so so how do you export a test asset? So actually this covers under advanced section of RQM. But the reason why I wanted to cover was this is very basic. Every user. This is very basic functionality that every user expects. Okay. Okay, fine. I have been not using my RQM in the past. I have been using spreadsheets to manage our all test artifacts. So now I am planning to use how do you migrate them. So this is a basic thing that any test management tool should have. That's why I thought of covering this aspect as well. So how do you export them? How do you export your external external test artifacts into RQM? RQM provides a small plugin which should be installed on top of your MS Excel. Okay, it is MS Excel add-in basically. Figure A, if you look at this figure A, so which has certain parameters like RQM server, username, password. So by providing this information on this small add-in, so and also you select your file. So that file, the spreadsheet which you are going to import should conform to this format. Okay, you have test case name, here test case description, okay, test case preparation, precondition, post condition, etc., etc. Okay, corresponding to this format, you have something called configuration file. So we need to have this configuration file. So how do you write your configuration file? Is the best way I can suggest you use as soon as you install this MS Excel add-in. Okay, you get samples over there in the installation directory. You go on there. There will be a formats, different formats. Okay, not only this format. This is a very basic format you should follow. The other formats also given, and corresponding to those formats, what is the configuration file that you have to mention while exporting to RQM server. That is also given, and this plugin is available in JAS.NET. You can go to JAS.NET, open Rational Quality Manager download page, go to all downloads, and you can find this exporting. It's export Excel Word import utility. That file name is called as. You can just go and download. Okay, so and other basic functionality every user expects is an offline execution. Okay, so what do you mean by offline execution? Is I do not have our RQM server. Okay, while I am in office, I will get the things in my hard drive and go home, execute your test cases, and upload the results in your spreadsheet, and come back to office and upload your results. Okay, so that is a basic thing it supports. In offline execution is another capability provided by RQM. So the steps for this is there is a run button here. If you go to any test case, there is a run button here. Go to clicking a run offline. Click on run button. There is a run offline that would give you RQMS file. Okay. So get those RQMS files downloaded in your hard drive. Go home, open your spreadsheet and import for offline using RQMS file. So that would open your detailed steps that you would have already created using your test scripts. Okay, so those steps would appear here, and you can look at this and mark the results are pass or fail. Come back to office, use this spreadsheet, and also use this spreadsheet to upload the results in RQM server. The process again come back to here. You have a spreadsheet here, your modified spreadsheet here. Okay, so this is the one. This is the one you have modified a spreadsheet, and using this RQM plugin, you upload the results back to your RQM server. So this is one offline capability of the RQM. Okay, so and I was talking about and what are the different rational tools can be integrated with RQM. So all these integrations, all these integrations provided by RQM are out of the box. So you have adapters, bridges already built from IBM, and you can use them directly to integrate with Rational Quality Manager. You have integration with Requisite Pro. Requisite Pro is a requirement management tool again, and DOORS is also requirement management. And you can integrate RQM with Rational Change. You can integrate RQM with Rational ClearQuest. ClearQuest is a defect management tool, and Rational Quality Manager with different rational test tools. Rational Functional Test Tool is functional test tool, functional automation test tool, and RPT is performance tester, measuring the performance of application. AppScan is security testing tool, and Robo is also a functional test automation. It's a legacy tool. Now nowadays it's replaced by Rational Functional Tester. So these are the automation tools can be integrated with RQM. And also we have out-of-the-box integration with respect to Selenium. Selenium is also functional test automation tool. It's an open source tool as well. And also we have an integration with BuildForce. Rational BuildForce is basically a build management tool and can be integrated with Rational Quality Manager. So if you have in advanced features of RQM, then you will understand what is the significance of using build management with RQM. So these things all will be covering under advanced features. Okay. So apart from this, we have another concept called OSLC integration concept. So when to use this OSLC integration? So this is a standard. Open Services for Lifecycle Collaboration is an open community for creating a specification for integration of tools. So all the vendors, certain vendors, for example, HP, we have a vendor, we have an IBM. So if you take these two vendors, for example, assume that they have agreed upon certain standards so that you can use your test management from IBM and your requirement management from HP. So they can both talk to each other using these OSLC standard specifications. Okay. So these specifications allow confirming independent software and product lifecycle tools to integrate their data and workflows in support of end-to-end lifecycle processes. So I can give an example. So this IBM CLM will be integrated with HP ALM. We have tools with HP ALM also. So those can be integrated with IBM tools as well. And those are supported by OSLC integration. Call it as. Okay, so there is a brief introduction, or there is a good amount of information is available on net. The website for that is OSLC is openservices.net. Okay, so all those information will be, the detailed information of OSLC integration will be available openservices.net website. Yeah. Okay, so I will command line adapter. So as I was telling, okay, so in the previous slide, so these are the out of the box integration provided by RQM. Say for example, you have been using your RQM and you have your own custom tool. For example, your company had built an own custom tool for test automation, functional test automation, and you do not have your out of the box integration. So how do you integrate your custom tools with your RQM? Is here is a solution is provided by RQM command line adapter. Okay, so command line, basically command line adapter, using this you can send certain commands from RQM from RQM from tester machine to target machine, and your target machine would be sitting, your custom tool would be sitting in the target machine. So how do we configure this command line adapter is, we will be having under RQM server installation directory, we will be having RQM command line adapter zip file. You just copy in the target machine, unzip it in, start the commander, create the executable program which will invoke your custom tool and certain commands which will be provided by your custom tool. For example, the best thing I can tell you is for example, your custom tool has a command line interface. Okay, whatever you do using an UI, that also can be done by using certain commands, and those commands will return a written code based on the result of the execution. If your command is successfully executed, it returns a return code of X, for example, and if your command is returns a fail condition, then it returns a code of Y. Always you can customize our command line adapter, and you can map these return codes into command line adapter properties file. So at runtime, what RQM does is, RQM command line adapter does is, based on the return value of the command that we invoked from your RQM, and it maps into, it just compares those return codes into command line adapters properties file, and accordingly it uploads results into RQM. So these executables can be your batch file. So that batch file would contain invoking of your custom tools, and also a command which will invoke your test cases in your custom tool. So I am just giving the example. This tool can be anything. It can be a performance tool also. So just we need to invoke those batch files from your RQM. So this is how it to go. So some of the best practices, okay, implemented. So I'll just quickly go through. We have 10 more minutes to go. And best practices, the how do you use test artifacts categories for organizing different, for organizing your test artifacts in an effective way. Okay, so as I told you, for each of the artifact, you take any artifact, you take your test cases, test artifact, any artifact you take, you have something called categories over here. Under summary section, you have categories here. You can manage these. You can manage these categories. Okay, you have summary for every test artifact. You have these categories. You have categories tab here. You can always manage these categories. You can add your own category. For example, while you define your test case, you think that this test case becomes model A called add. Okay, there may be models called add, delete, and edit, and you think that your test case is belong to add model. You can select. You can go to manage categories. You can define your category and values under that category. You can customize. You can select these things, so that whenever you want to generate your reports, okay, I want to see execution of test cases under only add model. I want to see only execution of test cases, status of execution of test cases under delete model. So always you have whenever you execute your reports, standard reports, so those parameters that you defined would be populated here, and you can say, for example, you have your test plan category type I have defined as model. If you select this model, under the model we have so many values called add, delete and edit. Okay, you can select these values, and also you come to test case categories and you select your model, you select as an add, you run these parameters, your report would be ready. So this is how you use your test artifacts categories for organizing. This also helps, organizing your test artifacts. So this artifact belong to so and so model, etc. And also which would help for generating your reports. Okay, so using weight to measure your test execution progress effectively. Okay, so whenever you open a test case, you try to create your test case under summary tab. Okay, there is a section called weight. Okay, by default the weight will be put it as 100. Okay, but always you can modify this weight. Uh, how do you how do you figure out what amount of weight you can define it over there? So again, it depends on how you interpret your test cases, how complexity is that your test case is. For example, you have a test case 1 and test case 2, and you have executed test case 1. So now your percentage of test execution progress is 50%. Okay, logically, in general, your execution percentage is 50%. But the other test case is there, which is test case 2, which is going to take lot of time. For example, assume that then your execution is not at all 50% completed; it's less than 50%. Okay, so how do you measure them using a weight? For example, you define weight as a 50 for test case 1, which is having only 2 steps, and you define your weight for as a 100 for test case 2, which is having 10 steps. Okay, so that means if you have completed test case 1, only 2 steps are completed, only 50 points are completed, the rest of the 100 points are still there. That means you have total 150 points and you have completed only 50 points. So that means your execution is still less than 50%. That means we have still long way to go executing test case 2, which is going to take longer time. So that is how you use your weight. Effectively, you define your weight to measure the execution progress. So you can see here there is a x-axis and y-axis is contains weight. How much weight is already completed, total number of points passed. You can see here in this report. So that's how you use effectively your weight attribute in the test case. And also, as we know that RQM does not directly provides the version management of the test artifacts. So you can leverage the functionality of snapshots over here. Okay, at some point of time you feel that okay, my test case is reached a maturity stage. You take that snapshot and keep it for your reference, and this cannot be replaced. Okay, it's not like that. It's not like any configuration management tool where you want to replace some test case you are taken as a snapshot with the live one. It is not possible. So only thing you can do is you can take the snapshot and keep it for your, and this is non-editable. Okay, you can just only view it. In worst case, if something happens, you can go and refer to snapshots, and you can revert back your the current one. You can just do some modifications based on the data in the snapshot, and you can do it accordingly. Okay. So next, the other thing is you have a duplicate option within the RQM. Okay, so this snapshot and copy utility I'm talking about, how do you just leverage this copy utility and snapshot functionality to manage your versioning of your test artifacts. So as I said, RQM does not provide direct way of doing this. So instead you can leverage these functionalities. Okay, second one is, first one I already explained. The second one is, which is copy utility. Copy utility is, there is an option here for every artifact, there is an option here called duplicate. Okay, You take any artifact like test plan, test case, test script. There is a duplicate option here. Using this duplicate option, it creates a new copy of test case, and that copy of test case will be kept in your RQM. Okay. Uh, and whenever you feel you want to take back that, the previously copied one, you can just go to, test script or test case section. You can just delink that the current one and link that the previously copied one. So this is how. Still, it involves a lot of manual stuff and lot of monitoring is required because you do not have any reference that you copied from here. Okay, but you have other things also, like you can define your custom attributes, like you can define as a parent ID, and we know that whenever you create artifact in RQM, it creates a unique ID. So you can just leverage that functionality, define your custom attributes as a, for example, you define custom attribute as parent ID, and also you copy that manually. You copy that ID, the parent ID, into parent ID of the custom attribute, the copied one, so that you will know that from where it is being copied. So that is how we can manage, but it's not automated. It's all manual stuff. Okay, so how do you use the different there are some entities called keywords, test data, and execution variables. I already explained regarding test data already. So let me explain the keywords. So keywords are nothing but reference points to execution of steps and can be reused these keywords in several scripts. There it avoids rewriting of the same script or steps in the scripts. For example, you have a login script there and you want to use that login script somewhere in another script. Okay, you might have already defined that login script and you just take that step as a define that step as a keyword, certain keyword. So it allows you to define certain keywords over there. Let me show you where it is. So here, okay. So I have defined login, logout step here, and also I have mapped these steps as a keywords here, login and logout. If you go to another script for defining another script, and in the other script it would have, suppose you have to define the login script, login step. So you need not to just write it here. You can just drag this and drop over here. You can drag from here and drop it here. Then this step will be populated automatically there. Okay, so that's how you just reduce your typing effort using a mechanism called keywords. Okay, so other one which is execution variables. Okay, so execution variables also a kind of, it's a program execution variables. For example, you define in Java, you define your class variable, and that class variable can be used in across different methods. So it's the same thing. You define your execution variable in one script, and those execution variables can be passed across different scripts within RQM. For example, in login script, here it shows an example. In login script, the login name can be stored in some variable and can be used in another script for finding out the login details. Okay, so and as I was explaining you, there is a few guidelines we have for exporting test assets into RQM. So first one is we have headings over there. We have seen the screenshot, like test case name, test script name, and the actions, steps, expected result, etc., etc. So those are headings. So you should not repeat those headings in the spreadsheet, and one sheet should contain only one test case. Okay, a test case can have more than one scripts linked to it. Okay, we know that. Okay, test case can be linked to multiple scripts, and linking of these test cases to a script is handled by RQM automatically. You need not to do anything when you import it. So all the test scripts which are associated to test cases will be automatically linked by RQM when you export them. So, so that thing will be taken care by uh, uh, your configuration file. Do not repeat test case information for every script in the sheet. Okay, and to depict, the we have in another script, just to depict that, you should leave an empty row after one test script. Okay. Repeated upload of same Excel sheet to the same project in RQM, which will overwrite the existing artifact. Which will, if you try to, make it multiple times the same artifacts, then it overwrites the existing one. Okay. Then make sure that it's just in the guidelines. Okay, it need not be same thing. A test case name and test script name should be unique across all the test cases and test scripts. So this is all kind of guidelines you can follow. And also, as I told you, you can if you have in your organization is large and your product management which is very difficult, or it's a large product which will contain thousands of test cases, and only one installing in only one machine would have a lot of load and maybe result in a crash. So instead of that, for a large deployments, you can use enterprise topology. So enterprise topology means, so each of these CLM products, we will call it as a CLM products. These CCM is called as an RTC, okay, which is configuration change management. RM is called as requirement management, which is rational requirement composer, and QM is which is RQM we are currently discussing. So all these three products bundled and call it as a CLM, collaborative life cycle management. Okay, so each of these products are installed in a different machine, having each of these a different application servers. We have a CCM here, corresponding to CCM we have one application server. For requirement management we have another application server, and software this quality management, which is RQM, have a different application server. So all these three products are installed in a separate machines and having their own application servers. And the JTS is also a core product for this serves as a core product for this RTC, RQM, and RRC, and sits in a different machine, and all the three are interlinked to JTS. Okay, so all the requests, whatever the whenever you want to open any application, or you want to define in your users any kind of, you want to create your projects, lifecycle projects, anything can be done by JTS. So JTS is basically called as JAWS team server and can be used for administrating these users, creating lifecycle projects, assigning licenses. Okay, so all these tasks can be done in JTS server. Okay, best thing I can say is you have a kernel, right, for operating system. It's kind of that you can think of that way. So JTS is kind of a kernel for all these three products, and you have to define separate database instances for CCM and JTS and QM. So there is another instance called data warehouse. So this data warehouse is shared across all the products. We have CCM, we have RM, we have QM, we have JTS. So all these things are four things are shared by data warehouse. Single data warehouse we have for all the four, and databases we have a different databases, and also application servers we have different application servers. So this is one best enterprise topology for you can use for large deployments. Okay, so I am done. We can open the line for Q&A, and we can address it.
Thank you, Mr. Chandra. If you'd like to ask a question, please press *1. Please ensure your mute function on your telephone is switched off to allow your signal to reach to our equipment. A voice prompt on your phone will indicate when your phone line is open to ask the question. Please state your name and your company before you pose your question. We will take the questions in an order received, and we will take as many as time permits. Please press star 1 to pose the question. We will pause for a moment to allow everyone to signal. I repeat, participants, please press star 1 to pose any questions to the moderator. We will take the first question. Please state your name and your company. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, I am able to hear. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, how to make the test plan review as a mandatory in the formal review section?
Currently that is not available. We cannot make it mandatory, but we have
found the option within that operational behavior section for our test plan or test case, but taking those values also, I am not able to make those review as mandatory.
Yeah, currently quality manager doesn't have that capability where we can make it a mandatory. But as a test manager or a test lead should make sure that that is approved or reviewed. So that we cannot restrict that.
Okay, can you please go into that slide number 3 or 4?
Just stop me. Slide number 3.
Yeah. Yeah, you can go to slide number 4, 5, where that progress bar was showing.
Oh, here, okay.
Yeah. So how to get a progress bar over there, means how to get that number over there?
This is implemented in CLM4 actually. I'm not sure whether you are using CLM4 or 3.
No, I am using CLM4 only.
CLM4, it should come.
It is coming, but I am not able to see any data over there, even if I added some hours estimated for a test case.
Okay, and however, have you added your test schedules as well?
Sorry?
Test schedule. There is a test schedule called in test plan. Okay, so effort that is fine, and also you need to define test schedule. So if you can check that, defining that, then it would come here properly.
Okay, can you tell me in which portion or which part it will come, where I need to specify the schedule?
Here there is a manage sections. Okay, you might have selected your default test plan template, and that may not contain your test schedule over here. You go to manage sections, and you would see there test schedules. Just select that, and that section would appear here. You go there and define your test schedule. It may come here. Just check that.
Okay, I will do that. Thanks.
Okay.
As a reminder, to ask the question, please press star 1. If you find your question has already been answered, you can also remove yourself from the queue by pressing star 2. I repeat, if you have any questions, please press star 1. And if you find your question has already been answered, you can remove yourself by pressing star 2. We will take another question. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello, this is Christine. Am I audible?
Madam, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, Chandra, regarding I have some questions. with this execution variable, can you please explain me how it can be reused? I have created it, but I don't know how to use it in other scripts as an execution variable.
Execution variable, see, when you start your execution, there is a one flag we need to set. Okay, pass execution variables to different scripts.
From where? While running?
Yeah, while running, you press your test suite to run. There is a one checkbox we need to check that, and there is it shows pass execution variables to different scripts. So that we need to make sure that whether it is checked or if it is unchecked, then it won't pass it.
Yeah, after checking it, I have to tell from which execution variable can be used. Like it will be like that. If I have number of execution variables.
Okay.
Is it possible I can I can select which execution variable needs to be
Yes.
what kind of things can be done over?
Yes, we can select.
Also,
I mean, suppose script 1 has execution variables 1 and 2.
Okay.
Okay. So all the 1 and 2 execution variables will be passed in test script 2. But in test script 2, whether you want to use execution variable 1 or 2, it's up to you. Okay. But yeah, you can always have a flexibility, to select, to use only 1 or 2. But always the test script 1 will, both, it will pass both of them to test script 2. But in test script 2, you can use 1 or both or 1, it's up to you.
Chandra, thank you. And also another question.
Yeah.
Whatever the test suite we are creating, right, we can link it up to test plan.
Test suites?
Test suite.
Test suites, you can, you can attach to test plan.
But I was not able to do it.
No, we can do that. You can just check it out. Here there is a section called test suites here. Okay. Make sure that you already created your test suite by using construction menu here. Go to construction, create test suite, add your test cases over there, and come back to test plan and add it. It would definitely.
Actually, I created my test suite from constructions.
Yep.
But I was from plan. It is giving direct option in this overview side, left hand side, whatever you see, right? From there itself there is an option. Add test suite. Is it something like that? Because I was not.
Yes, you can define it from construction, or also if you go to test suites, and it would open a test suite menu here, and from there also you can go and create your test suites. But it should allow.
Test suite I am able to, but to plan how to link I am asking.
To test plan.
Yeah, is it possible or you cannot?
It's possible. You can. There is a test suite section. It should be possible. You can check it once again. It should be possible.
I'm trying some sandbox. I am not able to do it.
Okay.
Chandra, thank you.
We can connect back offline if you have any issues. You can send me a mail. I will connect back.
Yeah, sure, Chandra. Thank you.
Okay.
We will take the next question. Please state your name and your company.
Emil from TCS.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Emil from TCS.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So you said like the requirements are being generated from the requirement composer, right?
Yeah, it's one resource, one kind of resource, but there may be different sources.
Okay. We are currently using this Rational Quality Manager version 4. So when we go for the option requirement, it is showing like the project is not configured for the requirement, so you cannot create. It's like showing like that. Do you know why the reason is?
Okay, the reason would be you might have created only quality manager project. You might have not created your lifecycle project. So what I would suggest is go to GTS admin page. In the main page, you would see create lifecycle project over there. You create a lifecycle project so that all RQM also and RRC also link together, so that you can associate requirements in RQM.
That means we should configure the all three applications under this lifecycle project.
Yes.
Okay, then I have another question regarding the adapter connectivity. RFT adapter.
Okay.
It's like the connection is being established. It's showing like the adapter is connected, but right after that, when we go for the record manual script, it is showing like again there are no adapters found in your system. Why it is showing like that?
That may be because of version incompatibility. You need to check your RFT, what kind of RFT version you are using, and also whether it is compatible with CLM4 or not. We need to check that. Because RFT, I saw RFT 8.0 was not working for CLM3, and probably not sure if you are using RFT 8.
We are using 8.2.
8.2 should work, and okay, we can connect back offline on this. I can check the issues.
Okay. Is it like we need to like a requirement composer is exactly another product, right?
Yes. It's a part of CLM.
Okay. So is the issue regarding the requirements is due to the non-availability of this requirement composer, or just while creating the lifecycle project we need to configure every applications?
Yeah, while creating a lifecycle project, you need to select a template, and then that template would tell you whether you want to configure only RQM, you want to configure only RRC, or you want to configure all. So there will be a section called template. So you need to properly select that template whenever you are creating your lifecycle project.
Yeah, while creating the lifecycle project, there was an option like 3 applications for the CCM,
yes.
RM, and
Yes.
UM, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Okay.
We will take the last question. Please state your name and your company. Please go ahead.
Actually, I want to see defects created for a particular test suite. How can I see that? Because in the defect list report doesn't have any option to choose a particular test suite.
It's rather linked to a test case, not a test suite. Actually, test suite contains a group of test cases, and usually defect will be fired against a test case, not with a test suite. So currently we can see the defects against a test case, not with the test suite. So that is not provided actually.
Yeah, actually, if suppose I want to see a defect list for a particular release, which is nothing but a test suite. So in that case, any report options are available?
No, currently we have only for a test case. We do not have for a test suite.
Okay. And the defect list, whatever that report we are providing, from there we need to choose a project. And when I am selecting a project, I am just seeing the quality management component out of that. So whatever work item has been created from CCM as a defect, those are not getting listed.
Probably in this case you need to run your reports there. There are these data warehouse reports. If you go to QM/admin under reports tab, you would have a report section there, and you need to configure run those reports. So it's a one-time activity. If those are not getting reflected in the report, then you need to run it once. Go to admin.
Okay.
Go to QM/admin in the URL. Go to reports tab.
Okay.
Okay, and in the reports tab you would find their data warehouse reports. Run data warehouse reports. Okay, you provide your admin credentials there and you run those things. Once the running of these reports are done, then you go there to reports and run, you will get it.
It is run all data warehouse collection jobs, that one,
yes.
right?
Yes. You can try that out. You will definitely get that reports.
Okay. For this report, I have another query. Like we have created some of the customized report using Cognos, and while running those reports, we are not getting a real-time feed. Is there any overnight job done to update the data which is feeded over the application?
No, I do not have any idea on Cognos. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
so we'll conclude the question and answer session now.
You can check if there are any more questions. You can take up 5 more minutes.
Okay, we'll take the next question.
Okay.
Please state your name and your company. Please go ahead.
Shyam from IBM.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
I have a doubt. We are trying to add a new field under the manual steps for a test script, where we have the step, the action, expected result, and we saw that in your screenshot you had something called validation. So we're actually trying to add a field that will contain the test script link to a SharePoint. How can we do that?
You can add that column. I think there is a add validate column option is there.
Okay.
I'm not sure where to tell because currently I do not have tool. Okay, but definitely we can mark that as a expected validate column there.
Okay. No, we're using RQM 3.0, so it's available. It's possible in 3.0, right?
It's 3.0. It's there.
Oh, okay. So that will be in project properties. You'll have to add a new field under that.
No. Whenever you create your test scripts,
okay,
there is a editors. Okay, somewhere in the editors there is an icon called include requirements also there.
Okay.
There is one column include. There is one checkbox include validations also. So you can mark that, then you'll get it.
Okay. And I have one more doubt. What happens is when we are trying to import test scripts to the RQM from using RQL Excel importer. We are currently able to import the test scripts, but we are not able to associate them to a test case. Like, say, we have a test case called XYZ, and while importing a test script, we actually specify a test case called XYZ. After import, there are two test cases. That is the XYZ that was initially existing, and after we import it, there was one more test case created XYZ, under that test script is existing. So how can we actually import a test script to an existing test case?
You want to overwrite?
I don't want to override. I want to add a test script to an existing test case. Is that possible?
I have not tried this scenario. Okay, I don't think so. That should be possible.
Okay. We tried it. We couldn't do it. So I was just wondering if that's possible, because every time we try to add it, it gets overwritten, the existing test case.
Yes. I don't think so. Only you have a test case in your RQM, and I want to link that test script to that test case already available in RQM.
Yes.
Right. That's what you are trying to do it.
Exactly.
Okay. So not sure. I have not tried this scenario.
Okay.
Okay. Any more questions?
One last question. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Under the manual steps in the test script, right? Is that customizable?
Customizable. What do you mean by that?
Customizable. I actually want to add a new column, a custom column, not a validation column, but I want to add a new custom column for my project need.
No, that is not possible.
Right?
That is not possible.
Oh, okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
So currently we don't have any questions on the queue.
Okay. Yeah, we can wind it up.
That will conclude our today's question and answer session.
Yes.
And would you like to make any additional closing remarks, Mr. Chandra?
Yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks everyone, and Thanks for joining, and thank you for your patience. Okay, so if you have any queries, I would suggest to go to JAS forum, jas.net, www.jas.net, and join the jas.net and go to forum, ask your questions, get it answered, and become an expert. Thank you. Thanks for your patience.
That will conclude today's conference call. Thank you for your participation, ladies and gentlemen. You may disconnect the call now.